Good morning, everybody. Glad to have you here today. And grab a Bible and we'll start Proverbs chapter 4 today. Proverbs chapter 4. If you're driving down the road, don't grab a Bible. But otherwise, if you'd like to follow along, we'll be looking at the first 9 verses of chapter 4. And what we're going to learn here, one of the things is, and not even necessarily a spiritual lesson, but one of the things that we learn, I guess, is that maybe children don't have never listened real well. Because Solomon repeats himself. He uses repetition to direct his son, and continues to use that as a method. And he challenges him. He really, if chapter 4, verse 1, hear, you children, the instruction of a father. I don't know if it comes across that way, but it's a very, um, you know, it's if we were saying that today, we might say, "Hey, pay attention, look at me." Is the tone of what is being said here, and he wants to really get his point across because he believes, as I hope we do, that the lesson that he is trying to teach was important, was life altering, and had a spiritual impact on, and would have a spiritual impact on his son. He wanted to be sure that his son was taught to follow God. Verse 2, he says, I give you good doctrine. Forsake you not my law. He's really wanting to stress to him the importance of the lessons that he is that he is trying to teach his son. He sees himself, I believe, as an agent of God, that he has been given wisdom, that God has blessed him, and now he feels it's his responsibility to pass that on to his descendants so that it could continue, that his children, his grandchildren, and hopefully all of us, if you're a believer of Jesus Christ, follower of Christ, we see that as part of our role, that we are responsible for our descendants, our on down our family tree or up our family tree, whichever way your family tree goes, or out or up, or that our future generations would hear of the wisdom of God. And so he opens again with this word here. And again, this is a very strong word that he uses. It's a word, it's the word that God uses when he says, Hear, O Israel. It's more than, maybe you've heard somebody say this before, there's a difference in listening and hearing. This is listening. This is actually paying attention. This is actually obeying what is being said to someone. And you'll notice also this is the first time you children. We see again the plural word being used here. That he's addressing more than just one. Again, he's wanting this to be a generational thing, that his not just his son, but future generations would hear this lesson as well, that David would hear it, and then David would pass it on and pass it on down the line. And again, that is a challenge for all of us to work towards teaching our children. And he says, I've given you good doctrine, not just little lessons, but good doctrine. He says this is godly wisdom. It is law in verse 2. Again, saying what I'm teaching you is from God. This is not just my opinion. This is not just, it's one thing to teach a kid how to tie a fishing knot or, teach them how to fix some food or wash some clothes. Those are good things. But we should also be teaching our children godly principles as well. For I was my father's son, tender and only beloved in the sight of my mother. He looks back and he says, he taught me also. He looks back and he says, my father taught me. Now I'm teaching you, and I want you to teach your children. I want you to pass this on. This wisdom, and I want you to share it so that it continues, so that it doesn't end with me or end with you, but that it would continue to spread through our family. Get wisdom, get understanding, forget it not. Don't ignore what I'm trying to teach you. Forsake her not. When I see that, one of the things I see Solomon saying is, when I'm old and gone, don't turn your back on this. Don't forget it. Don't just follow this wisdom when I'm watching, but continue to be a servant. Continue to seek the wisdom of God and hang on to those words. Wisdom is the principal thing. Get wisdom. He's saying to his son, you can't do anything any better. It's more important than money. It's more important than fame. It's more important than fortune. If you seek wisdom, because wisdom will benefit you, exalt her, and she'll promote you, will bring you honor. She will give to thy head, an ornament of grace, a crown of glory shall she deliver to you. And so he's just stressing to his children, to his son, again, the importance of gaining wisdom, of continuing to gain wisdom, then of being obedient and following that wisdom. Again, how many times have we seen somebody who we know knows better, and yet they go against what they've been taught as children? They go against what their parents have tried to teach them. And so this is a great lesson, not just for children, but for parents. All kinds of lessons here that we have a responsibility to our future generations to be sure and teach them godly wisdom. And again, not to leave it up to chance. A lot of parents today are more concerned their child learns a sport and becomes an athlete than they are that they learn things of God. And so Solomon wasn't that way. He wanted his son to know the things of God and pass it on to his children and continue to live by those things. Let's take that lesson to heart today. I think it's obvious as we look around our world how desperately our young people and even our adults need wisdom from God. Have a great day. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning.